Hello and welcome to the first episode of Here Comes the Podcast. I'm Cameron Grimsley.
And I'm Sarah Gillum. And I'm making sure my phone doesn't make any noise.
And so this is the introductory episode. So we're going to tell you what's going on, what this is, and why we're doing it.
Do we know?
I have a vague idea.
We have a rough outline, I guess.
Okay, so I guess we should start with tell our background a little bit about ourselves.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Okay.
So I am a wedding photographer, which this is weird because I'm telling you this, but
Yes.
you clearly know
I
this.
know.
But I am a wedding photographer based in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I've been doing photography for almost 4 years now. I've been doing weddings for a couple of years now. And met Cameron through that adventure.
Yeah.
And everything, we just kind of hit it off and decided, hey, let's do a podcast as a means of, just getting ourselves out there. And the kind of brides that I look to work with are the kind of photography that I like to do. I like people who like dogs, clearly, because
Yes.
Shooter... if you're listening to the podcast, Shooter's in my lap. He's my long-haired dachshund. And Max is at my feet.
Right down there.
And he is a boxer. And they're old men. They're senior dogs.
Yeah.
They're 10 and 11.
They're chill.
They're very chill. Well,
Thankfully.
unless we were on a walk, in which
Yeah.
case... Or we were in the front yard, and Shooter tried to attack the neighbor Great Dane.
Oh, nice.
He does that. So... He thinks he's ginormous, even though he's a little tiny 16-pounder. But yeah, I like people who like dogs. I like brides who care about details and romance. And I'm a big Disney person, so I usually click with people who like Disney. And I like to work with people who have had life experiences.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy working with people who... maybe this isn't their first marriage, or maybe they, lost a family member recently before these. People who have had life happen to them, so to speak, and then this...
You have a story to tell.
Oh. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yes, they have a story to tell, and this is them getting married is sort of their happy ending, so to speak.
All right.
So, yeah. What about you?
I'm Cameron Grimsley. My company is Longview Productions. I'm a wedding videographer, and I've been doing it almost 2 years now. So, and you have a whole speech about your ideal client. I'm just like, anyone that wants their wedding video, I'll do it.
Well, I've been reading a lot of marketing books.
Yeah.
So, and a lot
more defined.
Well, you have to think about who you want to work with and really market, because if you just market to the masses, you're not. If you speak to everybody, you're not speaking to anybody.
Yeah.
Then they're just gonna pick you out of a price list.
Yeah. I'm working on defining that more.
Yes.
But
it's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy to figure out who you are, which that's a whole nother part. We can do a whole podcast just about, first of all, finding who you are.
Yes.
And then the second one would be like defining your ideal client, or finding the people that you want to work with. And then you could do a whole nother one about all kinds of business marketing tactics that I'm like up to my eyeballs in all the time, because I'm fascinated by it. And that's something I've learned. I'm almost more fascinated at this point in my business. Like, I still love photography, but what gets me really excited is the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It's something that I didn't expect.
I found, with the marketing side of it, because I just recently did rebrand to Longview, and before I was just Cameron's Videography, I found there's something about that mindset of being a company and not just my name that I found so much easier to market and try to push.
Because it doesn't feel like you're marketing yourself.
Yeah.
Because I can be a little removed.
Yeah. a little bit more introverted, and I don't know if humble's the right word, but
Yeah.
you know.
See, I'm the opposite because I'm all about creating a personal brand.
Yeah.
Like, I want people to know me, and then that's why they book me, is because of me. Because, I mean, the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of great photographers in the Chattanooga area, and especially...
same with video, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great people, so the only thing that I can really distinguish myself is me. Like, no one is exactly me. So, trying to market that is really the only angle that I can come up with.
But weirdly, that's what, like, I've found I've been able to push myself more, and, like, because I've started a blog with Longview that I wasn't doing before when I was Karen's videography. Like, I am getting more personal, but somehow it took a little...
It's gotta be a mental thing for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense to me, because if you're an introverted person or you're more shy, having almost like a mask or like...
It is a little bit
It's like
that.
you are promoting Longview. It feels less like you're promoting yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe. You should see a therapist.
I'm
just kidding.
I have. But that is, like, sort of a little bit of what I like about the job, too, is I'm just in the corner with a camera capturing things, and it's not as much about me.
I feel like there are a few video guys. There's a few of them, but there aren't many that are really in the thick of things. Most of you guys are sort of in a step back kind of role.
Yeah. I'm a fly on the wall.
Which with video you kind of have to be. Like, I can direct a couple and tell them exactly what to do and take a snapshot, take a photo, and no one would ever know all the directing that I did. But you can't really do that as much with video.
It's harder to make it look natural, that's for sure. I've done it and I do it, but you have to really work with the couple, and they have to be open and willing to do it more with video stuff.
Yeah, you almost have to have a couple that's not awkward.
Yeah.
Which 80% of people are awkward in front of a camera.
Especially as soon as you put the camera in front of their face.
Yes, like they can be natural and cool, and the minute you pick up the camera, that's all of a sudden they're stiff and strange. And
because I've especially noticed that when I'm just like, especially during just like reception dancing stuff, like people are out there having a great time. As soon as they see me, like I've been videoing them for a minute doing their thing, being awesome. As soon as they see me, they freeze up.
Yeah, they're like, oh God.
Yeah.
I do that too. Like I've had friends like video me like for Instagram, just like a Insta story, like as I'm doing my thing, and then I find myself getting weird. Mm-hmm. Like when I realize that the camera's on, I'm like, oh shit. Like, like all of a sudden I'm self-conscious about whatever it was I was doing before. Which is strange because I'm not a super camera shy. I don't think I'm a camera shy person.
I don't think of you as a shy person in any way, really.
I don't know why I'm like that. I just when I get nervous, I do get weird.
Yeah.
So
what got you into photography?
So, good question. Excellent question. I got into photography because I've always been creative. I've always had a creative side. But I went to school for pharmacy and got my pharmacy degree. I'm still a pharmacist full time. And I just kind of got frustrated and jaded with the healthcare system and kind of especially in a hospital and the whole just grind of it all, I guess. And I felt like my creative side was being stifled and smothered. So I went through a bit of a crisis of sorts, and I found photography fulfilled that side of me.
Yeah. And
so I started taking it more seriously, I guess, and really started pouring a lot more into it. And I think a lot of it too is like I had poured, I was married before and I went through a divorce, and I had poured my heart into that marriage, and I had poured my heart into, my degree, in college. Like you don't have I was studying for my doctorate. I didn't have a lot of time to invest in anything that was outside of that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot of time on my hands. And then as I got into my career and kind of just became like a normal person with like a 9 to 5 type thing, I was like, I had more time to think, I guess, and I can get a little existential sometimes. So I kind of got really depressed. And then when I started fulfilling that creative side or part of me, I started to get a lot happier just in life in general. And so I did it as much as I could, as often as I could.
Yeah.
And then the business has just kind of grown. And my ultimate goal, and the reason I pour so much into the business and why I want it to continue to grow, is because I eventually want that be my primary gig. I don't think I'll ever quit pharmacy altogether. I go back and forth about that.
Yeah.
Because I did go to school for a long time for that degree, so it's kind of, I don't know how, and I do enjoy helping people. I enjoy what I do at the hospital, so it's not something that I want to quit entirely. But I definitely, my friend Ren calls things life-giving. I definitely feel like photography is more life-giving for me, and so that's why I want to do it. If I step away from pharmacy a little, then I can do photography more, and I feel like that will only make me happier. So yeah, that's where I am. What about you? How did you get into it?
I had always been into movies. Like, I'm the type of person, I would watch like all the special features and behind the scenes stuff on the DVD, listen to the commentaries. There's plenty of movies I've watched the commentary version way more than the actual movie.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a big like film nerd in that way, and I originally went to Georgia Tech to be...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wanted to be an Imagineer and design.
Oh my God.
Rides.
See, okay, my husband's in the other room, and he just got his mechanical engineering degree, and I really would love for him to be an Imagineer.
It's a tough gig to get.
That's what I've heard.
And that's what I sort of, realizing how hard of a job that is to get, and sort of realizing that'd probably be the only context in which I'd actually be happy being an engineer, and seeing like my course load and all the math and science, and I was like, I need to change courses now into something that'll
That's
make me
crazy though. You
happier.
got into the Georgia Tech engineering program?
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment in and of it, because that's the engineering school.
I probably barely got in. Like the year after I got in, I looked at like the freshman whatever stats, and it was like, oh, their scores, SAT, ACT scores and stuff are higher than what mine were. Like I was barely in that cutoff, because every year like their standards go up, and because more and more people apply and stuff, and so I barely got in. But still, I was there, and so that was like halfway through my first semester at Tech, and when I made that switch and changed majors to literature, media, and communication. So that was more...
Well, now that's a switch.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't even know that Georgia Tech has a major like that. Everyone just thinks of it as an engineering school. But, so I made that switch, and it was a lot of more the film theory side of things. So a lot of watching movies, writing papers about it, which I love. I'm the type of person that, just for fun, I wrote a whole thing comparing Mad Max Fury Road to Il Grito, which is a black and white Italian film that came out in the 60s. So I'm that kind of nerd.
That is way out there.
Yeah. But, and then there were a couple of classes that were, I got to make some short films and actually be behind the camera. And I studied abroad in Italy with Tech, and we got to make a documentary while we were over there.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that, and then just took that and ran with it and learned more about being behind the camera and the editing software and stuff like that. And then my dad passed away, and I started dealing with the depression, and I ended up dropping out of Tech. And so as I was on this journey of dealing with the grief and the depression and trying to find myself again, a DJ friend of mine, wedding DJ Ray, shout out, he like knew I had the camera and stuff, and knew I had a passion for it. And he was like, "I've got a couple weddings coming up. You can film them for free to build a portfolio." And so I did that, and it's just taken off from there.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So when was that? When did you do like your first wedding?
It'll be 2017. So yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, if you tell me you're 23 right now, I'm gonna feel weird. I'm 32.
Yeah.
I feel old.
You're not that old.
I'm not as old as my husband.
Yeah, my dad passed away in 2013, so it was a...
Was it a sudden thing?
He had been dealing with lung cancer since... he was diagnosed my freshman year of high school. And so he had, like, gone into remission that first time. It came back. A few years later, he went to remission again. And then when it came back the third time, it finally... got him. So I mean, it wasn't sudden, but it still was sudden.
It's still
always sudden.
crushing, especially
Yeah.
at that age as a young man.
Yeah, because he died like 3 months before my 21st birthday. So it was like, never had to go out and share a beer with Dad sort of moment.
Right.
So
y'all should talk, because he lost his mom when he was 27. To ovarian cancer. So I still have both my parents, praise the Lord. But that's an experience that really sucks, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm okay with it now, and I'm, obviously okay to talk about it now. There was a while where it wasn't.
You couldn't talk about it at all.
I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I would refuse to, and I bottled it up for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah. And it kind of like with Josh, it comes in waves.
Yeah.
It comes, it just, most of the time it's fine. And she's been gone. She passed away before I had the opportunity to meet her, actually. But, she's been gone like 9 years now or so. But, he can talk about her now he's to the point where he can remember the happy memories without getting too sad about the fact that she's not around anymore.
Right.
Because I think for a long time it was hard to even think about the happy parts, because it makes you bitter sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was trying to pretend that I was doing better than I was.
Yeah.
For my mom's benefit and stuff like that. So it was, I was still trying to go to school at Tech, but really I was in my apartment not getting out of bed.
Yeah.
But then I would text her like everything was okay and I was going to class, and I would come home on the weekends and pretend I was fine.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it's been a long journey to get here, but
we still have, ways to go.
Yeah.
Like the fun thing in some ways about both of where we both kind of are is we're both in this place in our business where we have grown a lot, but we still have big goals.
Absolutely.
That we're inching towards. I feel like it's centimetering.
Yeah. It can feel at a snail's pace.
Yeah. It's like, okay, and I think you just have to be a business owner to understand that.
Yeah.
Which we don't really, I feel like we don't really want the podcast to just be about our businesses. Like, the point of the podcast is not just for it to be an advertisement for Sarah LeRae Photography.
No, it's for us to have...
And Longview Productions.
No.
Definitely want it to be entertaining for people who don't have anything to do with the wedding industry or don't have any interest in hiring a photographer or a videographer.
You just want to hang out with us for an hour.
Yeah, we're
so.
Cool.
You think so?
Yeah. I just keep telling myself that every day.
So the main format of the show, to move on to that, is we're basically just gonna watch a movie every episode that's related in some way to like weddings or the wedding industry, and so we're talking about it through the lens of just people who enjoy movies and can nerd out about movies, and also people who are in the wedding industry and have experience with that, and talk about how well did they depict an actual wedding and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and things that happen and don't ever happen, and movie magic and all that kind of good stuff. And I am excited because I obviously don't have the same interest in film, so to speak, that you do, but I've always loved movies.
Yeah.
My dad put that ingrained in me from a very young, I'm sorry, Shooter's crying, a very young age, so I love movies and obscure movie references, especially comedies. Comedies are by far, comedies and fantasy are by far my favorite genres of movie, for sure.
I feel like we're gonna especially get a lot of romantic comedies.
Yeah, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like if there's a movie with a wedding in it, it's probably a rom-com.
Yeah.
What were some examples of things that weren't rom-coms that we talked about? That we might.
I can try to find that list I had.
Most of them are rom-coms.
Yeah.
All the ones off the top of my head. Because, I mean, why would you, like, a wedding is a happy thing. So if it's maybe that's an idea for a horror movie of something.
I've actually thought of a found footage horror movie.
Oh.
Because that's perfect with the wedding videographer.
Yeah.
So you could make that happen.
Okay.
I might try to write that or something.
You should.
Yeah.
It would just be, the wedding horror movie would just be like, the DJ never showed up. Or like, the dress got wine all over it.
Yeah.
You know, like, they would be, oh my God, he forgot his vows.
It rained.
There's
always, oh God.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Steel Magnolias came up on
Oh
my
my
Google search.
God, that's
sad
such a good
movie.
movie though. But the movie's more of a, up until the end, it's a rom-com.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It's not really a rom-com. It's not really about it's not really about their relationship.
No.
It's about the women of the town.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not really I would call it a comedy up until the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it's definitely not a comedy. That movie makes me cry.
So yeah, we have a vague
list.
we have a list, but
if you guys want to hear us talk about a particular movie,
yes, we have here comes the podcast at gmail.com. Send a suggestions.
send us an email. Faux show.
And then we'll probably also eventually branch out into like TV episodes that had weddings.
Oh yeah.
So
Like all the Friends weddings.
yes.
Definitely that.
How I Met Your Mother has some good wedding episodes.
Absolutely. We could do the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
We need to talk about that on Game of Thrones.
That'll be good.
So
that's all about us and all about what the show's gonna be. Hope you like it and subscribe and stay tuned in.
yeah, subscribe. Leave us a review, even if it's bad. No, don't do that.
I mean,
I changed my mind immediately.
We'll take constructive criticism, but
yes,
don't
just email that.
Yes. When you leave a review, make sure it's 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just email the constructive criticism, because we are open to it.
Yes. And we have...
Unless it's something to do with my voice, like the way that it
accent.
sounds.
Yeah,
or
that's
accent, because there's nothing I can do about it, okay?
Because we have, like, zero to no idea what we're actually doing.
No, we don't know what we're doing in the slightest. So if you have any tips as well, please email it to us. But oh yeah, podcast, that should be okay. That should be fun.
Yeah. And then, so the first real episode, we're going to be talking about the 1991 Father of the Bride.
Yes! Which, okay, I told my friends that I was going to be doing this, and we were doing Father of the Bride, and my friend Patty was like, the original or the remake? I was like, I guess the original. She's like, the one from the 60s, and I was like,
oh, I have all that research.
And I
didn't really, until I started looking into it, I did not know it was a remake.
I was like, oh, I'm sure Cameron's got it covered. Like, that's literally what I thought.
Yeah. So yeah, well, the Steve Martin version.
Yes. The iconic Steve Martin.
Okay.
Well, do we have a sign off of some kind?
I don't know. I was saying, do we want to like give a website and that sort of stuff at the end?
Yes, we should plug things.
Okay.
So my website's Sarah Larae, Larae, and Sarah with an H. So I should have just spelled the whole damn thing. SARAH LARAE photography. No, I'm not going to spell that. SarahLarayPhotography.com. You can find my Facebook and Instagram at Sarah Larae Photo. And, yeah.
Alright, and longviewproductions.net. My Instagram is at longviewpro. And I think that's what my Facebook page is as well.
Yeah.
So, that's it. We don't have a sign off.
And that is all. Thank you. Goodbye.
And that's the way it was.
And I'll see you on another time.